Hey guys, welcome to the I Hope to Hear This podcast. I have my good friend Andy with me.
Hello, everybody.
Returning. Last time we did it, we had to do it virtually, even though you live like right down the road.
Yeah, I didn't realize you were so close.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like 8 minutes away.
Yeah, you're in the. Well, actually, I don't want to reveal where you live on the podcast, but yeah, you're like across like PIB, right?
Yeah, I'm right there.
Yeah, and a first on the podcast, first time drinking. The glass isn't super appropriate, but what is this?
This is a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey.
Huh.
My uncle works at Costco.
Oh.
So whenever he gets like shipments in or whatever, I guess he just, gets whatever comes in.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
A friend of mine actually suggested recently that he was like, you should do a like after dark podcast where you're like drinking with friends. So it's like, it's so random. I didn't ask you to bring it, you just brought it.
It's a sign, dude.
Yeah.
It's some new content.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I actually don't drink that much. Well, first of all, I don't condone anyone drinking if you're not 21.
Yes.
Actually, let me tell a funny story. This is the reason why I tell you not to drink when you're not 21, because it was my birthday. You were there. It was my, I want to say 20th birthday. And we were drinking illegally.
Where was this?
This was at my apartment. Remember in North Druid?
Yes.
In college, I lived in those apartments.
Yeah.
And it was my birthday, but I drank too much. Like, remember Paul too?
He was there too?
He was there too.
Okay.
Like you, Paul too, Brian, we were all there.
Daniel was there too, right?
Yeah. Like John Han was there. I don't think Jason was there. Like his crew was too young.
I kind of remember.
Yeah. But basically what happened was I like went into bed because I was gone. And then someone threw P2 on my bed as well because he was gone. And then he threw up. But he was like right next to me.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I got thrown up on for the first time in my life. And that was the worst experience of my life. So responsible drinking is the name of the game.
I'm gonna send this to Paul later.
Yeah.
Paul, you're a bad friend.
But yeah, I mean, hey, this is nice though.
Yeah, we'll keep it chill. I gotta drive home too.
Yeah, for sure. So look, honestly, the reason I invited you on today is because it's hard to keep in touch with old friends.
Yes.
Would you not agree?
Yes.
Because even though we live really close, we're in similar life stages. You're married now. Oh, and did you have a ceremony in Korea? Is that why you went?
I did. I just got back like 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, even though all these things kind of align, it's so hard to keep in contact.
Oh yeah. Especially when you're getting older. Yeah. Like, I mean, everybody's busy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I actually just use this podcast as kind of an excuse to, just carve out time.
That's what's up, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good free therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Well, before we get started, though, let me ask you about the Korea trip. How was it?
It was interesting. So I got 3 weeks off of work. I don't know how, but they approved that. Quarantine for 2 weeks with her at her parents' house. That was pretty cool too, because I don't think I'll ever have I'll never have that time again to just spend time with them like that. And we got really close. It was cool. Got married like right after quarantine. Saw some friends for 2 days and came right back. Yeah, it was really hectic. But after going through it, man, like, nobody should get married twice. Like, that's not something you can do twice. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but it was good.
Did you guys have a ceremony here and in Korea?
No, just there.
Oh, wait, there twice?
No.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, we went. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, if like, people who get married twice, divorce, whatever. Like, if I were to ever get divorced, I don't think I would ever have a wedding ceremony again. Like, that was so stressful.
Yeah, man. I remember. Wedding planning here, it was so bad, and it's not because of like what Shirley wanted or what I wanted. It's the clash of what her family wants and what my family wants.
You were saying that on the last time we talked.
That's
too.
Right. Yeah.
It was, for me, it actually calmed down a lot because I remember I told you like my mom was like that tiger mom.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but as the wedding date like came closer and closer, like she softened up a lot. Yeah, but yeah, you're definitely right. And my wife, she actually handles my parents now because I don't have that relationship.
Yeah.
You know, but she's got that, oh, money, like, you know. But it's good, man. Everything's good so far.
Yeah, that's what I noticed happened too. Because your wife, she's very fluent at Korean, right?
Yeah.
When did she come from Korea? Very recently, right?
Last year, March.
Yeah, so she's like a straight up Korean. So
yeah.
I imagine the way that she can communicate with your parents is very seamless.
Yeah.
Well, what's interesting is Shirley, my wife, who was born here, her Korean is, moderate, but it's not the greatest,
Right.
So there is some level of language barrier between her and my parents.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, like the way that they interact is so different from the way that I could interact with my parents. So I think it just happens. Like when you get married, your wife just there's a bond.
And they just got a daughter in a sense too, So I'm sure it's different for them too.
Yeah. Because both our parents, they only know what it's like to raise sons. Yeah. That's interesting. Huh. So the quarantining, I remember looking at your Instagram and just I could feel your pain. How was that?
It honestly wasn't that bad. I was just kind of making jokes on Instagram, but like I wanted that because like I've been to Korea. I go like once a year, twice a year, so I've been a lot. I've done it all. So going there, it's cool, but I wanted a vacation of me doing nothing. Like I don't want to think about the business. I don't want to think about work. I just want to sit there, sleep, eat, and I don't want to do anything. But that was like my time, those 2 weeks.
Gotcha. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and her parents were mad chill too. Like, dude, like you're here, just do whatever you want to do. Like don't nunchi ba us. Like, just chill. Yeah, they're really understanding too.
But was it uncomfortable? Because, well, actually, I don't know, but most places in Korea, most homes are apartments, right?
Right.
So they're pretty confined. It's like anywhere in Seoul is like a big city, so it's all apartment living. Was that any?
Not really. So they live in a 3-bedroom. So the parents in one room, her sister in the other, and then we would just stay in the third room. But dude, I just stayed in that room and played like Nintendo Switch all day. Like it was straight. Like, oh,
nice.
Yeah.
And in Korea, it's like you can get anything delivered to you.
Yeah.
Which is
I pedaled everything. Yeah. And it's so fast. I love it.
I remember I visited my brother a few years ago, and I only took sneakers, but I needed like flip flops or sandals for some reason.
You just order that shit.
Yeah, and it's crazy because it's not like here at Amazon Prime you think it's great because it comes the next day.
Right.
They order it, and I was like, well, I guess I can't wear it until tomorrow. And he goes, no, it's coming it's coming in 2 hours.
It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, they got it figured out.
Yeah,
it's next level there.
Yeah, but I mean they're more confined too, so it's easier for them too.
Yeah, that's definitely true. It's the radius that you have to travel is because I remember looking at like an apartment tower and just count, and then within like a single apartment complex, there's like 3 different towers, right?
Yeah.
And I remember counting like how many floors it has, and on average, there's like 4 or 3 apartments on each floor. And I remember thinking, wow, there's like hundreds of families
in that one building.
in this little like confined space. So it's like it makes economic sense for that delivery.
They gotta figure it out though. Man.
Yeah,
we gotta catch up.
Oh yeah, for sure. Hey, but you kind of alluded to something I want to ask you about the business that you and your wife run.
Yes.
Yeah. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Actually, we brought you something.
Oh yeah.
I brought you something. Yeah.
Oh what?
So what size do you wear?
Medium or large, medium, large, but medium's great. Yeah.
We have a large. So if it doesn't fit, let me know.
Oh wow. Thank you. That's
for you. And this is for Shirley's socks. We didn't really have anything.
She loves socks.
The baby, we didn't have anything in her size.
It's okay.
Yeah, but
wow. Yeah, dude, this is awesome. Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, man. It's like my first time at your house.
Yeah. Oh wow. So yeah, tell us about. It's obviously clothing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So we resell clothing. This was all my wife's idea, to be honest. This thing's just registered on my name. Granted, I do help out. We, doing this, that, but right now we're focusing on polo. So we send a lot of polo to Korea. Because I didn't know, but it's like twice the price over there.
Yeah.
So even if you're buying from overseas, from people like us, it's still cheaper.
Wow. Yeah. You guys figured it out. That's amazing.
She had the idea, and she was kind of hesitant about it.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, like I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Like I definitely see a future in this, so let's do it. You know, so I kind of pushed her, but yeah, it blew up, and it's we're doing pretty well right now.
So pretty much your customers, they're all overseas,
All
right?
Korean. Yeah.
Do you only, is it because that's where people show interest from, or is it exclusively to Korean customers? Or like if for example someone here wanted to buy from you guys, is that allowed? Or
You can, but it doesn't make sense because we get all our stuff from like stores here, so you can get that stuff.
right,
You
you
know
can
what I'm
just
saying?
go out
Yeah, just
yourself.
go and get it. And even if we were to do it, the profit margin isn't worth it.
Right.
But yeah, so our marketplace is all done through Naver. So like Google's like marketplace kind of, you know.
Right.
But they have it figured out where if you have a business license, like it's all figured out for you. So they have all your metrics, your monthly, daily sales, stuff like that. And whenever the money comes in, you just transfer it over to your business banking.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it's all set up, and they take like, I think it's like 3-5% or something like that.
And there's no issues because you're running it from America, anything like that?
Yeah, because you know we're a LLC, so you know, and they require that. Yeah, you can't sell without it.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah. So I don't think we have to pay Korean tax or anything. We have to pay taxes here, but
Is that like G Market? Because have you heard of G Market?
I'm not familiar with G Market. I've heard of it, and I know it's pretty popular. But I would think so.
Yeah, because my wife, so all the baby stuff is like Korea for some reason has all the best stuff. Like, well, and a lot of Korean food that babies like. And you know, like if you think about kim, it's like really salty, right?
Right.
But they have baby versions of it where it's really low sodium.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
Like they think of everything.
Yeah.
I know what you mean though. They have the good stuff.
And it's so nicely done. And so we buy a lot of stuff from G Market, but it's coming from Korea. So I was wondering if you.
Oh no, G Market is like stuff like that, but this is more for like people like us who are selling things, like individual salespeople.
I see. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. But that's what I love about people who have like business-minded approaches, right? Because it's not. I think when people think about starting a business, it's always, oh, what product can I make, or what new thing can I do? But like, it's not. I think there's a sweet spot where it's about figuring out needs and what, like, even if it's not you producing something directly,
right,
if there's like a monetary incentive, then that's a huge business right there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly wouldn't even thought of being a business person if it wasn't for her.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of really thankful for my wife.
Yeah.
You know, like I can call myself a 사장님.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like, because when I think of a business person, like back in the day, it was like, dude, I don't think I could ever do that. You know, I can't be a 사장님.
Yeah.
But if you do it, it just works out.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier than people think it is.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, granted, there's a bunch of work that goes into it.
Right, for sure. Because my wife kind of does the reverse of what you guys do for babies. So my wife started like a baby clothing thing. But what she does is she realized how good the things from Korea are. So she buys from Korea and sells here.
That's another business.
Yeah.
There's a few people that do that here.
Yeah. And it's I mean, it's slowed down because Shirley's pregnant and she doesn't want to do anything. But
she's pregnant?
Oh, yeah. I didn't tell you. She's pregnant.
Another one?
Another one, bro.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah, there's going to be another one pretty soon, September. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Congrats.
So the mess that you saw downstairs, it's going to double.
But the first one's kind of walking around now.
Yeah. She's walking around. She's talking a little bit. So it's so much easier because that we can communicate.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, that's insane, man.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the business that sounds awesome. So is it taken off? Is it kind of where you guys want it to be, or? Because from what I see on Instagram, it looks like it's doing so well.
She could quit her job if she wants to.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's killing it.
Yeah. Does she want to quit though, or is it like she wants to do? Is it enough for her to do both?
She's gonna have to quit eventually because the place she works at, right? I don't think she'll care if I say this, but her dad works for the same company, right? And he's pretty high up in the ranks, I guess. And then like the Tepyo was like, oh, I heard your daughter's going to Atlanta. Like we have an office there, and it's like down the street too.
Oh.
So he's like, yeah, well, just open up a spot for her.
Uh-huh.
But because she got in through the good graces of that, it's kind of like dunchiba. You can't really stay for long.
Right.
So eventually she's gonna have to get out later.
Gotcha.
But if she were to, we'd be fine.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you think that's kind of what motivated her to think of a business?
I'm sure it did. Yeah. Because she's not going to be able to work at like a regular, place because, the language and stuff.
Right. Right.
And that's another thing. You got to go to school, learn English, and then go to work. And,
Yeah. Oh, wow. So how has it been for her, like moving to America without, because, does she know how to speak English at all?
She can. She can get by. Like, she can communicate, but she's shy, which I understand, I tell her all the time, like, dude, you can communicate, you can get by, but she's mad shy, and sometimes it's too fast for her, which I understand too.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, when she first came, it wasn't tough, but, she was sad. Like, she missed her family, her friends. Like, she doesn't know anybody here.
For sure.
But thank God she's got a few cousins and she got to meet some of my friends. But she actually told me like last month that she really likes America. Because the opportunities here.
Right.
Right. Because she was saying like, I didn't know if Korea was so bad, but like finding a job there, living there, buying a house is impossible.
Yeah.
But she was like, yeah, America's still a place where you can come and like, start a business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just for context for people who don't know the Korean real estate, especially, like a really average apartment in the right place in Seoul can be like multi-million dollars.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I have an aunt who has a really old apartment, but apparently the value is like in the millions.
Yeah.
And it's like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Like there's nothing special about it.
Yeah.
But just because it's in Seoul, so it's impossible for someone like our age, who are about to either get married or start a family. It's impossible for them to buy a house.
Right. So everybody's renting or doing that chunse thing.
Yeah. Chunse is where you pretty much put down a really big down payment, and then you live there for however many years, and then when you leave, they give the money back.
Right.
But the only reason that works is because the real estate in Korea is so crazy that when you put that chunse down and you take it out, the owner of that apartment has made so much more money
off the interest
and the increased real estate price.
Right.
Yeah. So it's crazy. I mean, the movie Parasite really does say it all.
Yeah.
About the struggle, the class struggle. That's real.
You can see it. Like, there's no middle class. I'm not saying like everybody's like poor, but just a gap for the higher class and just the working class. It's just huge gap there.
Yeah.
And it's not like us where you can make 50,000-60,000 a year.
Yeah.
And you can buy a house. You can have a car. You can put your kids in school, but that it's just not going to happen over there.
You know what though? I think it happened in Korea because of the Samsungs, the Hyundais, and the LGs.
It's a freaking monopoly.
Yeah, the huge companies, right? But I can see it kind of happening here too.
Yeah. With
like the Amazons and all that. And like you see, even in Atlanta, Georgia, like the suburbs, you see the real estate going crazy. And it's, you know what? Like the really crazy thing is a lot of people that I know at my company or like people who studied similar things, they're all quitting their jobs and going somewhere else. And there's one destination.
Amazon.
They're all going to Amazon because Amazon can pay better opportunities. So Amazon is like really, really taking over.
They're taking over, dude. It's kind of scary.
It's going to happen in America where our kids are going to be struggling to find well-paying jobs.
Yeah. So you got to find another route.
Yeah.
I
mean, business. That's kind of safest way to go.
It really is like, and it's not safe because it's business,
right?
But hey, man, there's nothing left.
Yeah.
Me and Jules Young was talking about this, like that work culture. of like somebody's dad that's been with Coca-Cola for 25 years, like that's gone. Like you don't hear that now.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's just, you know, max 4 or 5 years moving on to the next company. But it's all the same though.
Yeah. And for those of you guys who don't know, Jules is a John Song, Mr. Futuristic Vintage.
Yes.
Yeah. I love him.
I love John.
I saw you dog sat at his dogs this past weekend.
It was great. If anybody who's watching this, right? If y'all have a dog and you need a sitter for the weekend, let us know. Like, we love dogs.
So let me ask you this then, because when we were walking up, you said that you guys weren't ready to have kids yet. Is it that? Okay, so before people get mad at me, I'll explain what I mean afterwards. But let me ask the question first. Is it that different than having a kid, having dogs? It's kind of essentially the same thing, right? You're feeding them, making sure they don't hurt themselves.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't have kids, so I don't know. But I would imagine a kid would be 1,000,000 times harder.
People think that having a kid. Okay, well, let me preface it by saying, like, Aisley was such an easy baby. She was out of the norm. She didn't cry that much, and she was pretty satisfied with just laying there. But all you're really doing is changing diapers, feeding them, and just kind of holding them for the first few months at least.
Here's the thing, though. So dogs, like, if you get them as a baby, right? I'm sure it's gonna be hard for like the first year because they're babies. You got to train them and do this and that and the other, but they'll learn, and then after that, they're good. And you just feed them, pet them, go outside. That's it, right? But a baby is like you can't leave that baby alone. A dog, you can. You can leave the house for a few hours and come back.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And a baby, you got to worry about a sitter. And hey, what if the sitter's a crazy person? I got to worry about that.
Yeah.
And am I raising this baby right? Is my baby going to be a psycho?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't think I can handle that responsibility right now. Yeah.
I think you can.
I'm sure I could if I had a baby. Like, it'd be my baby, like. And granted, I don't know what that's like, but all my friends tell me that, yo, like, this is my world, it's a different happiness. I don't know that. But like, I'm just already so tired. Like, I don't want another thing to take care of right now.
True. Maybe when your wife quits her job.
Yeah.
Are you guys planning it at all?
I mean, eventually. Yeah, eventually we will, but both of us are like, no, we're way too busy. Yeah.
Because that's right. You do have a lot of friends who have babies, like Danny and Nadia.
Yeah.
Asher, he's really close to, very similar age as Ashley, as Aisley. So yeah, we hang out often. It's so, like, Asher's so cute.
I've yet to meet Asher.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think Nadia gave Danny shit about that too. Like,
what do you mean?
It's like, isn't Andy like your good friend? Like, sorry, Nadia.
Oh, as in, like, because you haven't gone over.
Yeah, I never gone over, but like you said, it's hard to.
Yeah, for sure. Have you kind of seen that in your life as well? It's hard to keep up with people.
Oh yeah, you just. I don't have the time. The days I do have off, I'm still working. But I feel like you do have to make time now at this age. Like, you really have to set up. You really got to schedule that stuff. Like, hey, dude, let's pick this date and let's go out and have a beer. Right. Like, you have to do those kind of things now.
Yeah, because even it took us weeks to schedule this.
Yeah.
Our schedules didn't line up.
Right.
Korea, this and the other. So, yeah, it's so sad, but you're right. If we weren't to make this intentional decision to schedule things, it's so easy to just go to work, come home, relax, and you're satisfied with that.
Right.
Like, like in college, you're like, oh, you always want to hang out with people.
Right.
But once you're married, you have your wife and you're just kind of just living life.
I will say too, like, you need friends like you, because you made it like a mission to call me and like, hey, let's do this. I'm like I need that, because I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, if you call me, I'll go out.
Yeah.
I'm not the one to initiate the call. I got to work on that too, but that's why we need friends like you. Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad I did this.
Yeah.
You know, honestly though, there is a part of me. The great thing about this podcast is it gives me a reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I didn't have the podcast, and if I were to call you up, and like the scheduling didn't work out the first time, I would be like social man. Like I would be like a little bit like, oh, maybe he doesn't want to hang out with me.
Yeah, and that's never the case though.
Yeah.
You know, like I got to work on that, man.
No, but it's like it's a thing. It's a miscommunication.
Yeah.
Fans that it's like it's such a weird thing to navigate when you're an adult.
Right.
It's like you want it, like you don't know if you mention it, is it gonna get awkward?
Yeah, and like you don't know what's going on with them either. Like, dude, he could be busy as shit too.
Yeah,
you know, like you know, this person might have to watch the baby. This person might have to work late. Like you don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to make it a thing where I tell people no. Like, dude, I really do want to chill, but you have to initiate it because I'm really bad with it. Yeah.
No, for sure. That actually is great because now that you've told me that, now in the future, I'm gonna feel more like confident.
Yeah.
Andy, let's hang out. Oh, you can't. That's okay. We'll schedule it again.
I'm always down, but I need that push. Yeah.
Wow, that's good advice for working adults.
Yes. Speak your mind.
Yeah. Hold on. Is my mic working? I think it's working, but really low. It's okay. We're not gonna restart.
Okay.
We can figure it out. Hello. I just have to. Sorry, guys. If my voice hasn't been loud enough, I fixed it now.
That seems kind of high though.
Yeah. I think it's okay.
Okay.
Because right now, see, that's not that bad right here.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, so speaking on sound equipment, have you? Because for those of you guys who don't know, Andy, do you tell people you are a rapper or you used to be a rapper, or how does that go?
I don't even bring it up anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you completely done with it?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
I still write all the time, but like I don't want to put just anything out. If I do put something out, I want to make sure like I love this, and I have make plans to make a music video for it and like make it big.
Yeah.
Even if it is like once every few years.
Yeah.
But recently, talking about Jules again.
Yeah.
We were talking about this like, dude, we're getting old. Like, you know, because Jules' first passion was music too, right?
Yeah.
And we were both talking like, dang, like I still want to do this, but you know, we're both busy. Like we make more money now because we're older, but now we don't have the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's going to happen, but we talked about starting going to like a creative retreat.
Oh.
Yeah. So with him, me, a few artists and like, you know, music people, if just a few of us just went to like a cabin for 4 days and just ate, drank, and just made music for 4 days.
Yeah.
Like, how would you think about that? That's what he asked me that.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. And this has been on my mind for like a few years. Like I've been wanting to do that.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Like I'm down to do it.
Yeah.
You know, we just have to set a date and do it. Cause now like money's not an issue.
Right.
You know, we can rent a place out. We're grown.
Right.
So now we're just trying to find the right squad and go, and who knows, maybe we'll come out with something special.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I 100% endorse that.
Yes.
I mean, because John Hyung's music is amazing too. Because whenever I see him, I talk to him about that too. But yeah, he's like super busy doing, you know, the like video production stuff and all that. So
he is so busy. Him and Jen.
Yeah. Wow, that would be. I would love to see what comes out of that.
Yeah.
The music that you guys produce, and like the last thing that you did. Oh wait, no, the last thing that you did was Sanctification, right?
Right.
Yeah, and then before that, didn't you do like a big project with Jules Young?
Yeah. So we were trying to start like a label, his label, The Futuristic Vintage. So we had plans to, you know, for me, him, Kato was involved. So we tried to start something, but I think it was just too much for him to handle.
Gotcha.
You know, because essentially, like, you're trying to manage like 5 different people,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And like, you're gonna get burnt out. Yeah. And he was working a full-time job at the time too.
Yeah. Was that when he was at the recording studio, or
he was working for like a video company, I think.
Oh, I see.
But it kind of died out.
Right.
So I'm kind of glad that we had that conversation.
Yeah.
And maybe something can happen.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. That's amazing, John Young. If you're listening, please push through with this. Like Andy was saying, he's not good at initiating, so you gotta push him. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember like whenever you were producing like producing content and putting it out there, I always made it a point to like say, hey man, this sounds great. Like, this is good.
And you're one of the, so when I get those comments, right, when I get those DMs, like, that means a lot to me. And there's a few people that do that, you know, like, that means the world to me. And it's messages that like that make me want to keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because like, I'm a really self-conscious person, and I have very low self-esteem.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Like,
I would have never guessed.
Yeah, like I'm very, like, when people say, "Oh man, your music's dope," like, my first thought is, "Oh, he's just saying that because he's just trying to be nice." You know what I'm saying? Like, even like the way I look, like, I'm very self-conscious about the way I look.
Huh.
Yeah, like, I never knew this about myself either.
Yeah.
Until like recently.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So when I get comments like that from close friends and they actually mean it, and I know they do, I'm like, okay, that makes me feel a little bit better. Yeah.
Yeah, because it can get awkward sometimes, because there were stretches where all I'm talking to you about is music, because like we're not like regularly communicating. Right. So there was a part of me that was like, oh, is it weird that I'm only doing this? But I kind of forced myself, because I figured, right, like, if you don't, so many people don't get the feedback that they deserve or should hear. Like, because I think it's so sad when I hear someone's music and it's just like, oh, it's great. And then I wonder why they're not producing any more music.
Right.
Oh, it's because, you know, like,
you're not getting the feedback.
Yeah. Because if you release something and no one tells you anything about it, then
it's like, dude, this must suck.
Yeah. That's the default thought that you go to.
Right.
So.
I will say though, Sanctification, I got a lot of great feedback from that though.
Oh.
Like, I didn't expect that, because I've been out of the game for so long, but like, everybody on Instagram shared it, like, without even me asking. Like, it was great. So I was like, maybe I guess I did pretty well with this one. Yeah.
That's the struggle, right? There's a struggle when you're kind of in a comfortable place, but because you're in a comfortable place, your art kind of has to take a secondary seat, right? Because like when you're younger, that's all that you have.
Right.
So you're like really hungry, and you can like push. Because you definitely used to make more music back then.
Oh yeah.
Higher frequency than you do now, right? Right. Yeah. So I want to be one of the people that really, you know, encourage you and push you to make more music.
I really appreciate that. Yeah, I really do. That means a lot, for real.
Yeah, and it's a waste, you know. With talented people don't do.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, there you go.
Shout out to Charles too, because Charles hit me up on DM, one of my friends, and like, he played like one of my songs from like 8 years ago.
Oh,
yeah, and he was like, dude, this is so dope. I'm like, oh, thanks.
Yeah. For sure. Guys, if you don't know Akademikz with the Z, your stuff is all on Spotify, right?
It should be everywhere. Spotify, Apple Music, all that good stuff.
Yeah, go check it out. If just to support a local artist, but really, it's good music. It's not. I'm not just saying this because you're in front of me and you're a good friend, but it's actual music, good music that I listen to.
Thank you.
Yeah, so for sure. I remember was it in high school maybe? It was back when we were actually using physical CDs still. Yeah. Yeah. I think you made like a mixtape.
I did.
I'm pretty sure I still have it somewhere. If I have it.
No way.
Wait, maybe not. Maybe since I sold my car. Because it was always in my car.
If you do, let me know, because I don't have that either.
Okay. I'll look for it. It's the one where like you're wearing the
tank top. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good music, and I think it's still, even the older pieces that you release, I think they still hold up. Yeah.
Thank you. You know that mixtape? I recorded that in my parents' house, right? Do like this crappy mic, and I edited and everything myself. And back then, I actually sold those.
Oh yeah.
But I couldn't burn all those on my laptop, so I went to church.
That's right.
And church had like this like 10 disc burner, so I did a bunch of those there. I feel bad.
But did you not tell anyone?
No, I just did it. I figured it out and I just did it. And then I remember I was like a freshman in college at the time, right? And then freshman in college, we still look like high schoolers, right? Yeah. So I went to Northview High School right next door, and like during lunchtime, and everybody's Korean over there, so no teachers are gonna know. So I was just passing out CDs back then.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I sold a few. Oh, those good times. Yeah. Thank you, Hanbit, for the equipment.
Dang. Yeah, because back then they were producing sermons or something on a disc like every week or something. That's why they had that.
Yeah, in passing. Yeah.
Oh wow. Do you miss those times, or are you glad you're not in those times anymore?
No, I miss those times. Yeah, I miss those simpler times.
Because I mean, it must have been a lot of hard work, right?
Yeah, but back then it was fun. You know, like, and nobody else was rapping at the time, you know? So, like, I was the rapper in the Korean community, which is pretty cool. Yeah. But, like, and I didn't care about money. I didn't care about, you know, this, that. It's just, if I was just known in that community as that guy, like, I was happy with that. Yeah. If I could go back, I would.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, but with the comforts of adulthood, do you feel like it would be easier to do now, or did you need that drive back then? I
need that drive. Yeah, because I wanted to be that rapper, you know. But right now it's like I want to buy a house. You know, like things change, but
But you know, rapping wasn't the only creative thing you did, because for a while there you did podcasting as well. Was that kind of part of your artistic expression?
Yeah, but I want to say my passion. Yeah.
So I mean, can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Because your last episode of the Black Korea podcast was you kind of saying, "Hey, like we're starting a business." So that was when you and your wife were starting your business, and so you just didn't have the time, so you had to step away.
Right.
But then the podcast pretty much ended there. I think there was maybe one more episode after that. Do you know what happened?
I don't even know. Because I don't listen to my own podcast.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened after I left, but I left, and so the business was an excuse, but it wasn't a lie, because I really was too busy, and I couldn't handle everything. But another thing was, like my view for that podcast was, it just didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. Like I wanted unity, but I wasn't seeing it.
I see.
Amongst the hosts,
right.
But, and that might not be fair for me to say, because we all do have different, you know, we all think differently about certain situations, especially when it comes to race. You know, so it could be my ignorance. It could have been theirs. Who knows? You know, but for me, it wasn't going the way that I envisioned it to.
Yeah, just for again context for people who might not know, the Black Korea podcast was you, another Korean female host, and like 3 other Black hosts, right? And the concept was kind of bringing about the Korean perspective and the Black American perspective on certain topics. And you guys did debate quite a lot about different things.
We did.
Yeah.
But like, it was this one comment that one of the girl hosts said that just really threw me off. And she wasn't wrong, you know, but it put a bad taste in my mouth when she said that black people can't be racist. So I was like, what?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But she's right in a certain context, because like, you know, because her definition of racism is if there is a like set system to, you know, deprive a certain people because of their skin color.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty freaking racist,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But my definition of racism is like, dude, if you're gonna treat somebody badly because of the way by the way they look,
Right.
by their skin tone,
Right.
you know, that's my definition of racism.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? So for me at the time, it was like, dude, I think that's kind of a really ignorant thing to say. But at the same time, she's not wrong.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So I don't know if I can talk about. I'm gonna say it. If you don't like it, I can edit it. But I actually sent a message that you guys ended up talking about on the podcast.
Oh yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
It was about like whether or not Asian Americans face racism. And like I sent it kind of saying, so the topic was, so first of all, the whole conversation was whether or not black people can be racist. And I can see their side. Like the argument was the oppressive nature of white America exists because the people in power are white.
Right.
And so because as a culture, black people aren't in power in most places, they do not have the ability to be racist. Like that's what they were getting at. The oppression at a systemic level is just not possible because of the structure that was already built on kind of like white America.
Right.
So I get, like you're saying, I get it. But then like the part that kind of irked me was when they said Asian Americans don't face racism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That blew my mind.
Yeah.
I was like, so what was this like first 25 years of my life that I went through then?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And it's stuff that I still face now. Because actually like 2 weeks ago, we were at a park and I was holding Aisley and we were walking and some white lady goes, "Hey, do you speak English?" But the thing is, like, I was loudly talking with my friends.
What country do you think we're in?
Exactly. And so I was like, oh, yeah. But then, like, the content of what she said was really nice because she was like, oh, your baby's so cute. Like, she's gorgeous.
Yeah.
But, like, I think that little thing just reminds me again, oh, I'm seen as an other.
Yeah. It sparks this freaking, like, flame that you've carried for a while.
Yeah.
I went through it 4 days ago.
Oh, yeah?
At work. Like this, granted, she wasn't like the smartest person. Like she just told me like, anyway, but she was like, "Are you Korean?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, I love Korean people. I just went to Jeju sauna." And I'm like, that part's cool.
Yeah.
All right. You know, like I'll accept a certain amount of it because like they just don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's not their fault. But then she started being like, I love Korean people. And like, I had this one dude there and I was just talking to him. Oh, I love Korean people. And like, she started busting out this accent like, oh you guys, we need more healthy. You guys so good. I'm like, yo, I don't talk like that.
Yeah.
But she continued to talk to me like in that accent. I'm like, and I had to check her. I was like, dude, I don't talk like that. You don't have to talk to me like that. You know? And, you know, that kind of caught her off guard. But it's stuff like that. Like, if that isn't racism, what is it?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But, and there's another thing, like, a comment was said during the podcast, like, yo, this isn't a contest. Like, why are you trying to compare? I'm like, dude, that's comparing what you're comparing right now too.
Yeah.
You know, so it was a lot of frustration. Yeah. And, you know, I can't articulate the thoughts in my head fully all the time. So that's frustrating. But it was just so like, man, like maybe I can't do this. You know, like I don't have the knowledge and I can't express the way I want to. Yeah. So I was like, dude, I just need to get away from this.
But you know, in your former host's defense, I remember near the end of that podcast where you guys did talk about the whole Asian racism thing.
Mm-hmm.
The female host, I remember her saying, "You know what? Like, I kind of get what you're saying. Like, I can appreciate this and approach this with a different energy." So I really appreciated that. She kind of did start to think about from our perspective a little bit. But the frustrating part for me, and I think this is just a gap that we have that both our communities need to work on, is I think there is a sense of you're stealing the limelight, like the spotlight, away from our struggles if we talk about yours.
But that's not it, though.
Exactly. I agree. 100% agree. So because that's not it, but because people think that way, I think the conversation was kind of like, yeah, okay, fine. You guys face this thing, but it's nothing compared to what we're facing. And I don't think we're ever arguing that. We're not arguing that Asian Americans have it worse than black people.
Right.
That's not what we're saying. It's just we're saying...
Well, we have... Y'all got this going on. We have this going on. You know, but we need to understand that it is two different things. You know, and we're not trying to compare it.
Yeah.
You know? But, I mean, like, you're right. Like, and it's hard to do that because, you know, both sides are never going to know fully what it's like. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So...
Yeah, but I'm hoping podcasts like this, where we're talking about our experiences and things like that, I'm hoping that it'll enlighten people. Like the whole thing about the things that we go through. For people who don't understand our life experience, it can seem like, oh, like David and Andy, they're being overly offended. Right. But then all you see is that single statement. You don't see the lifetime of, you know, different looks, or like being made fun of because of the food that we ate, or, you know, people talking about our appearance, or like, you know, like for me, you were born in Korea too, right?
No.
Oh, no.
LA.
That's right. Well, like for me, like I was born in Korea, so there was a point where people were making fun of me because I couldn't speak the language. Right. Things like, so like all those things come back the instant someone makes a single comment that kind of identifies us as someone un-American, like a different type of American. Yeah.
I will say it got a lot better after that the Stop the Asian Hate thing happened. It got a lot better, and I felt it too. And it's weird because like when Corona first started, if I were to go out to get groceries, I would feel the looks. I don't know, did you go through that too? Like, did you kind of feel that?
We actually didn't go out much, so we didn't get to, because even when we went out, it was like in and out for us. Yeah.
If I was at the grocery store or if I was at work, you know, like I would experience some things. Like I would experience looks. I would experience if I'm at work, right? Like people would, like I'm trying to make a deal with you. That's my job, right? Yeah. I'm in sales.
Yeah.
But if I'm trying to get close to you to show you something, but this person is like backing up, and we're still like 5 feet apart,
right?
You know, but she's not doing that with any of the other reps,
right?
It's kind of like, what the fuck,
right?
You know?
Yeah.
I can cuss here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was like, yeah, well, that's not right, you know. But like I would experience that, and like it didn't feel good. And me being a passive person, like I do this too much. Like I think about the other person too much. I'm like, okay, that person can feel that way because this, and this. Yeah. So let me try to make them feel a little bit more comfortable. Yeah. But in that state, I feel like I should have said something. Yeah. You know? Yeah. But after the Stop Asian Hate thing happened, like things got a lot better because all these people are like, dude, I don't want to be that person. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, I actually think, I don't think it was ever about Americans being racist. I think it was about them being ignorant to like kind of what we're going through, right? Actually, I told this on the podcast before, but right before all the lockdowns happened, our family, we were in Vegas. I ran a marathon, but on the way back in the airport, like right after like our family went through the security checkpoint, the dude like got like an air like sanitizing thing and like was spraying. And I remember Shirley making the comment, I don't think he did that to anyone before us. Right. Yeah. So it's those little things.
Yeah. And but at the same time, it's like, I can see why that person would feel that way because he doesn't know.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
all he knows is Chinese.
Right.
Ching chong chang. Like, that's all he knows.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it sucks, but is that his fault? You know?
Yeah, and like that's actually something I've been thinking a lot about. So, right after that incident with the lady at the park happened,
Uh-huh.
I was thinking, how is this actually a big deal? Because it's true. I mean, see, I keep going back and forth because it is fathomable that we don't speak the language. I'm
Right.
sure there are other like Chinese, Korean, Japanese people who come here who don't know the language, right? So is it that offensive for her to ask that?
See, that's another thing too, you know what I'm saying? Like, they just don't know, you know, until somebody says something, you know, and like these conversations happen all the time, but like, you know, Asians are very passive.
Yeah.
Like we are quiet. That's the way we were raised. But, you know, times have changed. People are speaking out, but I think that's what it takes. And you don't have to be a dick about it.
Yeah.
You just let that person know.
Yeah.
You know, like, look, I know you're not trying to be rude, but that's very offensive.
Yeah.
You know? And if you let them know, like, maybe they won't do it in the future.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because, like, for them, they might not know because this is the U.S. and, you know, there's not a lot of Asian folks around.
Right.
You know, so.
You know what, though? Now that we're talking about it, I'm kind of processing a little bit. The fundamental issue here is that they see us and they see, like, a different culture, right?
Right.
But is that necessarily a bad thing? I definitely don't want to let go of my Korean culture.
Right.
And I want them to understand me from a Korean culture perspective as well, right? So, like, for example, I wonder for a white person who comes to my house, are they thinking, oh, I need to take off my shoes? Or is it racist if I take off my shoes? Or like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's another thing I thought about too.
Yeah.
Because, like, damn, white people got it rough. Like, I don't want to be this racist guy. Like, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Like, no matter what they do, like, this might come off as rude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I feel bad for white people too.
Yeah. Because I definitely, if someone came to my house, I want you to take off your shoes.
Yeah.
But for him or for that person, it might be, I need to act as if this person is any other American if I don't want to be considered racist. So they might just try to step in. But then, so there is definitely some sort of line somewhere of what's racist and not. But it's so hard because we're not trying to discount our culture totally.
Right.
But it's like integrated into our culture along with our Americanness. So it's sure
all mixed in, dude, and it's tough.
It's hard for us to navigate. Imagine how hard it is for someone outside of our culture.
Right.
You know?
I thought about that too.
Yeah.
But it's things like this though, right? Because I think like you know what I'm saying? Like, I might feel offended because of this, but I try to look at the big picture too. Like, because I might be thinking this way. This person might not think of it as wrong whatsoever. So, and I don't know if it's like a Christian thing, but like, you really should think about the other person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure. Yeah.
And I think it's easier for Korean people to do that because that's naturally in our culture already.
Yeah.
Like 눈치 and 챙겨ing somebody first before yourself. That's just part of our culture. So it's a little bit easier for us to do.
Right.
But, you know, other cultures, they might not have that.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing. Like, that's just not part of their culture.
Yeah.
You know, but when it comes to like that Christian shit, like, that is what you need to do. And I think that's what we need.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough. But I will give advice for people, like especially white people who are struggling with this. So I was gonna say it never hurts to ask the question.
Yeah.
But in the park experience that I had, all she did was ask a question.
Right.
But it was I felt some way about it.
Yeah.
So I mean, good luck.
Yeah, it's a weird. Yeah, it's a little iffy.
Yeah. And I think it's hard just because our culture, our kind of second generation Korean American culture is so new anyways. Like
Yeah.
we're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
It's so, yeah, it's crazy.
That's why America is a tough country. Like, if the perfect America, right? It is what it's supposed to be. The whole mixing pot and everybody getting along. That'd be great.
Yeah.
But it's damn near impossible to do because there's so many cultures.
Yeah.
Everybody's so different. Like, you know, like what somebody sees as normal might seem really messed up to us.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, we'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
But I don't see it happening anytime soon, like
Yeah.
fully.
Yeah.
But we've made great strides. I'll say that.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. But I mean, there are things. So there are things that I think might offend other Asians, but that doesn't offend me. Is, you know, the whole like my culture is not your prom dress thing. Like there was this girl who wore some sort of, I think it was like a Chinese traditional dress to prom,
Right.
but she was like white or something.
Right.
And someone tweeted like, "Oh, hey, my culture is not your prom dress. Like you're doing cultural appropriation." That doesn't.
I feel like that's a bit much.
So there's a fine line, right? There's a fine line between appropriation and appreciation.
Right.
When people, especially like not anymore these days, because Korean culture is a lot more popular now.
Right.
But back when we were in like middle school, high school, when someone mentioned anything about Korea, it would excite me. I'd be
Yeah,
like, "Oh,
yeah.
that's awesome."
Because we never talked about it.
Yeah, I remember there were kids at my middle school. They would ask me to get them like Drunken Tiger CDs.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, because they like the music, right? Even though they don't understand it.
Yeah.
I mean, Drunken Tiger, they were like rap pioneers in Korea, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, they were vibing to the music, so they were like, "Oh, like, please go get me a CD." And yeah, I would do that, you know.
I remember doing that too.
But I feel like nowadays it can sound like some sort of cultural appropriation to be appreciative of some cultures.
Right.
But that's like, I don't even know how to suss through that. Like, it's like there's such a fine line, but it's also a very blurry line. So it's not a fine line. It's a very blurry line between
It's the time too.
Yeah.
Because it's the time where cultures are clashing, but it's also a time where everybody's offended.
yeah.
That's what makes it hard.
Yeah.
Right? Because if it was me and some girl wore
Like a humble.
hanbok to
Yeah.
prom, I'd be like, oh, that's kind of dope.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But if she's wearing a hanbok and doing this,
That's right.
then, you know, that's an issue.
Right.
So this whole cultural appropriation thing,
Oh, by the way, for people who are just listening, Andy did the
the chinky eye thing.
yeah.
Yeah. But like the whole cultural appropriation thing, right? And the cancel culture.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's too much
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, for sure. I actually think that some of this cancel culture thing is counterproductive to building a true melting pot.
Yeah.
Like people are so afraid to do things that conversations like this can't happen.
Right.
Like I wonder how easy it would be to have this conversation with someone who's not Korean, you know?
Yeah.
Right. And like I can tell from the podcast that you had, like issues regarding like Black America, like that was like a very sensitive topic, and it was like very hard to have an open conversation about. So it is a difficult time. It's challenging. Yeah.
It's gotten a lot better though. I'll say that. But it's even me now, man. Like I'm so careful about what I say, what I post, because fucking anybody can be offended now.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I might be in the wrong. I might be an ignorant person. You know, and I'm trying to work on that. But it's tough, especially coming from like the generation that we came from too.
Yeah.
You know, where things were a little more hard.
Yeah.
If somebody were to call you a certain name, like, okay, that's fine. You know,
We have other things to worry about.
right? But now that can cause like this whole social media, like who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
But not saying it's right, but
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, at least it's on the surface.
right.
At least it's on the surface. But yeah, I think what we should be really pushing is actual honest conversation and not
Yes.
just,
You want some more?
I'm okay.
I'm done too.
Yeah. Ever since I graduated college, it's funny. Like when it's legal age to drink, I think I drank the most before I was 21.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but yeah, nowadays this is enough to.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm pretty toasty right now.
Yeah. Well, we're at an hour. Did that feel like an hour?
No, it didn't.
Is it the drinking? I don't know. But any last thoughts before we close out?
Oh, we're closing out already?
No, we don't have to. I'm actually just trying to think about your time. I don't want to keep you out too late.
No, I'm good. What time is it right now?
It's 9:13.
I got some time.
No, yeah, let's keep talking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing I really wanted to talk to you about, really kind of really explore is this whole adult friendship thing.
Okay.
Right? Because especially for someone like you who produce content and, you know, have a certain level of notoriety, right? Like you have like people still know you as that, oh, that guy that raps. Like,
Yeah.
like actually, when I was talking to a friend about you being on the podcast, I was like, oh, I'm going to have Andy on. He was like, who? And I'm like, oh, have you heard of Akademikz? They're like, oh, yeah. You know, so like, especially for someone like you, do you ever feel like when someone reaches out to you who you haven't talked to in a while, when they reach out to you, do you ever get the sense that, oh, does he want something from me? In the sense that like maybe it's just proximity to me because I have a certain level of, you know, fame, quote unquote.
Not anymore. But I did. I know what you're talking about. I did. Because and this might just be me in my own head. I could be wrong. But when I felt that I was at like the top of my music career, right? When I was getting a lot of attention, I did notice a lot of people wanting to hang out, a lot of people DMing me, a lot of, you know.
Yeah.
At that time, yes. Like I felt like they wanted something from me.
Yeah.
This isn't just a hangout.
Yeah.
Why else would this person that I haven't spoke with in 3 years, you know, out of nowhere hit me up in the blue?
Yeah.
Then yeah, 100%. That's something they wanted.
Yeah.
They wanted studio time, or they wanted a feature, or something, you know, or a connection that I have. Then yes. Right now, no, because right now it's, especially if it comes from somebody like our age, then it's just like, hey man, maybe he just wants to hang out, or maybe he's going through a hard time and he needs somebody to talk to, something along those lines. Yeah,
because that's the thing, right? When, like, especially at our age, and with like LinkedIn and stuff, even if you're not kind of publicly famous, like if, like, for example, like you get promoted at work and you put it on LinkedIn. You're the in that company, right? You know, or like, oh, like a promotion means more money, maybe they'll buy me dinner, or like, you know those kind of thoughts, right? I don't know am I the only one who has those thoughts? No, I don't think it. So I was thinking in music terms, but if it's, I'm not active on LinkedIn, but I could definitely see that happening, because LinkedIn, it shows your company, it shows your title, right? And then if you search that on like Glassdoor, then like you can kind of get the range of salary, right? Who you're connected to, right? So it's kind of like, are you a stepping ladder to get to where you want to be at? Right. And so that's the part that for me is so difficult. Like if it's a friend that I've known forever and I still kind of have regular contact with, it's fine. Right. But for a lot of like Hanbeat people who, like, we were like super close back in the day, but I haven't talked to in forever. Right. Sometimes I feel weird reaching out to them, even though my intention is just to hang out. Right. It feels weird because I don't want them to think, for whatever reason, like I'm trying to, you know. I think you're the last person that should feel that way, though. Oh, really? Yeah. Why? So the way we see other people right now, right? Because it's hard to see people, is Instagram. We only see what's put on Instagram, right? So your image on Instagram is dad, grown man, working a job. You know, this guy's not going to fuck me over. Oh.
Yeah. So I don't think you should be feeling that way, especially if it is Hanbit people.
Right.
Or for the listeners, Hanbit is our home church.
Old church, yeah.
Old church. Yeah, I don't think you should feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like I thought about this because remember Jason Han. He was in Atlanta recently because I saw it through Instagram. But he the part of like the organization he's a part of, they're doing this like self-defense class in LA.
Shout out to Jason.
Yeah, that's dope. That's awesome, right?
Shout out to Jason.
But because of that, like I like occasionally hit him up when he's in Atlanta, and then we meet up sometimes, and it's always a great time. But in that moment, I hesitated and actually didn't reach out because in my mind, it could have been like, oh, like from Jason's perspective, Jason might have said, David's only hitting me up because
I'm doing this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with the added layer of, because I have a podcast, oh, he just wants a guest on the podcast. You know what I mean? Like it's
you have the same problem that I have.
yeah.
You worry too much about other people. And it's not bad because this just means you're a caring person. You know what I'm saying? But I'm working on that right now too. But you should not feel that way.
Yeah. See, like I know that's the answer, and I'm gonna try to do that, but it is hard.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
Because look, I think the reason you're feeling that way is because it happened to you, or if you've seen it happen.
I've definitely seen it happen. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know what it's like. I've seen it happen. You know, but if it's pure, then I honestly think the other person would know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and because I think that way, but I still want relationships.
Right.
When people approach me, I'm always very open.
Yeah.
Oh, let's hang out. Let's hang out. Like, I've had some people who only wanted to hang out because mostly it's, hey, like, I'm trying to get a job here. Do you have any tips? Just because they know like I've been working for a while.
Yeah, that's kind of annoying.
Honestly, I don't mind it that much.
Right.
I don't mind that at all. And like if someone were to approach me because they needed something, I don't think I would mind that much, me personally.
Right.
But I just worry that whoever I'm approaching
Might see you that way.
Yeah.
And that's because you care a lot. Yeah.
Hey, thanks, man.
I'm like that too, though. Yeah. No, I totally understand. I hope Jason's watching.
Me too. Jason Han, if you are watching or listening, I want to hang out, bro.
I'll tag him on this.
Yeah. Wow.
Shout out to Jason too, though, because like I met up with Jason 2 years ago when he was here, and that's the first time I've seen him in like 10 years. You know, but he's the same Jason. He's the same sweet old Jason, man. Like, I mean, granted, he talks like this weird Cali boy.
Yeah. He's been on the West Coast for too long. Yeah.
He kept calling me Pop. Hold on. Actually, no, never mind. Yeah, he kept calling me Papa. I guess that's a thing in like the West Coast. But other than that, like he's the same old Jason. Like he's sweet old heart, and he's doing that self-defense class.
Yeah, and just to give people background on what that is Jason does, I don't know what it is, some sort of a MMA thing that he's been doing for a while, but his gym, they're doing like free, I think it's online as well.
Yeah, like self-defense classes.
Yeah.
For ever since that whole Asian American hate thing's been going on.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So they've been doing free, I think it was free classes, right?
Yeah.
For like elderly people especially, which is awesome because the attacks have been primarily on elderly Asian Americans. So to equip them to kind of fend for themselves and be able to defend themselves, that is such a heads-on direct solution to the issue that we have. So it's awesome. It's great. So yeah, shout outs to Jason.
Yeah, man. You're doing a good thing.
Yeah, man.
This is the most fun I've had in a long time.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Do you miss podcasting?
I don't miss podcasting. I miss interacting with people.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm always like at work and doing the business.
Yeah.
So it's just me and my wife.
Yeah.
But like, dude, you need to go out. You have to.
Yeah.
And this is like the most fun I've been having in a long time.
Oh, great. You got to do this more often. You know, I think that's the sad thing about growing up. It's when you're young, you're always around friends, right? Especially college.
Oh, yeah.
When you're like living with your friends and you're, everywhere you go is with your friends. And then you graduate and for a little bit, you're always still with your friends because now you have money, right?
But you don't have the time no more.
Yeah. And then it's slowly the time kind of gets sucked into, you get sucked into the career building and like family building. So I think, I mean, it's no wonder that people who seem to have it all get depressed, right?
Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah,
How are you doing? You doing good?
So, I think it was the last podcast we did. You know how I talked about I'm seeing a counselor? Did we talk about that?
No, I'm seeing one too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so maybe it was after then because I dealt with a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went to go see a counselor about that and it was eye-opening. Yeah.
I might actually have to get that contact.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because I'm on a online thing and it's kind of whatever. But
Yeah, so the counselor that I went to, she's also like trained pastorally.
okay.
So like, she doesn't see just Christian people,
Right.
But if you're Christian and you kind of want to talk about it from that perspective,
Yeah, it
it's
kind of
so
helps.
easy. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get that contact.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Yeah, for real.
Because, bro, it was the most mind blowing thing was I was having a lot of anxiety as a father, right? Because we talked about it earlier. You know, the responsibility, and then you have to provide. But at the time, I was really struggling with work. Like, I wanted to quit.
Right.
But if I quit,
Yeah.
So like I was kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Right.
But she kind of deconstructed my worldview of like what a father's supposed to be, right? Like the crazy thing is she like got me to kind of draw out my extended family tree on a whiteboard, and she like kind of went every male figure one by one to ask like how they're doing. And then the thing I realized was all the male figures in my life, both my mom and my dad's side, everyone who stuck to the formula of, you know, get a good job, build a family.
Right.
They're all good. Like they're living life great. They're retired. They're all great. But all the ones that kind of went off script, they got divorced. They like left their wives. Like all these like crazily, like all those things happened. So she was saying how, well, no wonder you like hold such high standards of fatherhood for yourself.
Because you don't
Yeah, like I in my mind subconsciously, I believe I must stick to the formula to be a good father. Like I've equated those.
Okay, you're stressed out because of that.
Yeah, because there's like but then like just realizing that was such a help.
Right.
Because, you know, when you have anxiety and you don't know where that anxiety is coming from, that's the part that drives you crazy.
Yeah. I need that. Because, you know, the last time I talked to you on the last podcast we had, we were talking about my anxiety.
Yeah.
And it happened again. And
like a panic attack?
Not a panic attack, but like more like a freaking depressed and like I want to kill myself. I'm not suicidal, but like I'd rather die than go through this right now. But it only gets harder because these responsibilities only get bigger.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's another reason I don't want to have a kid. Like if I can't even go through this right now,
right?
How am I gonna handle being a father?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm already like struggling so hard.
Yeah.
You know, because you know, like earlier we were talking about like, you know, from the outside point of view, right? Looking at Andy, yeah, he's a business owner. He's got a job and he's married and. From Instagram, it looks all great, you know, but like that all comes with a price, you know, it's not easy. So
you don't see all the hard work that goes into it.
Yeah, man, it's hard,
Yeah.
you know, and I can't handle it.
Right.
I can't.
You know, I want to talk about a post that you put up recently. It was about how you like had bought a car, but then you realized it was really just for appearances.
Yeah.
You know? So like, what was... First of all, what car did you get? I'm curious.
It was an Audi A5.
Oh wow.
It was nice.
Yeah.
It was nice. But the reason I got it was because the car market's kind of weird right now.
Yeah.
So I owe $20,000 on my RAV4. If I were to trade it in to CarMax, they would give me 27.
Dang.
And it's still like that.
Oh, wow.
It's still like that. So I was like, dude, this is a come up.
Yeah.
So, okay, let me trade my car in. Let me get this quote to Audi. See what they can do. They matched it. It's like, okay, we can put you in an A5 for the same monthly price. And I'm paying like $425 a month, right? For the same price a month, you get this A5.
Wow.
So I was like, let's do it.
Yeah.
You know, because I've never got to flex.
Right.
You know, I'm not shitting on you, but I was always jealous of you because, you know, back in you had the Lexus.
Yeah,
you were the young guy with the Lexus, the IS.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, like I'll never be able to afford this, you know? But like, this was so good. This was my first time to like, I get to have like a nice car.
Right.
You know? So I did it. But it was a lease. It was like, you know what? Let's flex. Like for once in my life, let's flex. Let's do this. I deserve this, and I got it. But the paperwork was taking so long. He was like, you know what? Just take the keys. Come back on Monday. We'll sign the rest of the papers. Like, all right, cool. So I got the car. Drove it for 2 days. I had a wedding the next day, so I took it to the wedding.
Nice.
So I was like, I was flexing, you know. But this whole flexing thing was like, it was not worth it. And I just didn't feel comfortable in the car.
Yeah.
It was just like, this isn't right. Like this, I don't feel good in here. Maybe it was because it was a lease, you know, and I was thinking long run too, like when this lease is over, I got to buy another car for my wife.
Yeah.
Now I got 2 car payments.
Yeah.
Whereas if I just keep my car now, I can keep this car.
Yeah.
Great car. And I'm
can,
paid
like,
off.
You can be, once you pay it off, you can keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, everything just felt wrong.
Yeah.
So I went back to the dealership. I was like, look, well, I paid $2,000 on top of that for the down payment. So I was like, look, I don't want this car. I want my car back. It's like, let me at least check if we still have your car. So he did. Was like, dude, you're going to lose your deposit. I was like, that's fine. I just want my car back. But the guy was nice enough to be like, you know what? I canceled the deposit. You got all your money back.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Granted, I can probably never go back to that Audi dealer, but like that whole flex shit is not worth it.
Yeah.
It's really not. As soon as I got back in my Toyota RAV4, I felt so much better. Yeah.
No, I'm sure you can go back. Like, I'm sure the reason he gave you your deposit back is so that he doesn't lose you as a potential customer in the future.
Nah, man.
Was he like mad?
Nah, he was nice. He was mad nice, but like I felt bad, so I don't think I can go back there.
Gotcha. No, but yeah, that's a real struggle at our age.
Yeah, like everybody wants to flex. Like everybody wants to be like, "Oh, I'm at this stage of my life," you know. But like none of that shit's.
You know what's funny? Because you brought up the Lexus that I had, that it was nice at the time for sure. Like I'm not gonna lie about that. It was nice to be like the high school kid.
Yeah,
who
man,
was driving up.
That was a nice car.
And it was like when the new model IS just came out. But the sad thing is, like, so I ended up having to sell that when my dad declared bankruptcy.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know you went through that.
Yeah, my dad, like, because of the '08 recession.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my dad had to close down his business. But and then like the car was under his name, so we had to sell it and all that. But the thing is, after that, it was like, what car am I gonna drive next? And this is gonna be really first world problems and spoiled. Right. But for me, it was like I can't drive an Accord. Right. Like, I can't drive a Honda after I drove a Lexus. So
you just came from an Accord.
Yeah. So like I had to, like, because like it was the Accord and the Lexus, and like Accord seems like a step down. Like, that outward appearance of it. Right. I struggle. Actually, this is really dumb and petty and small, but I struggled with that for a long time. Like it was
at that. I mean, it's understandable at that age.
Yeah, but so like I had to be like I can't believe I have to go back to this, but because I went through that, like now I really don't care what I drive anymore. Yeah. So it's like it is freeing in a sense, even though you feel like, oh, I want the nice thing, but then when you kind of get over it,
it's like this. Who cares?
Yeah,
who cares?
Yeah, I'm the one who's gonna have to pay the bill.
Right.
I'd rather not and just not care.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, when I drove the Audi. It was nice, but it was like, it was whatever. I have more features in my car right now.
Oh yeah,
than that car.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but, and like, who cares? Like, for real, like, you pull up, you come out, you get some looks, then what?
Yeah.
Then what?
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And, you know, I wonder if kids nowadays care as much about cars as we did. Do you think? I'm not connected enough to know.
I'm sure they do, man.
'Cause-
Like, what you wear and, you know.
Well, like, we're from the generation of, like, the original Fast and the Furious, like, Gone in 60 Seconds, you know, all those kind of movies. Like, Fast and the Furious is not the same movie anymore.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, you're right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, back then, it was all about, look at that skyline. Oh, look
Right.
at the, like, Supra. Like, we would...
No, I'm sure it's still there, though. Like, you know, if I'm looking at my church kids, right? If some kid, 16-year-old, come and pull up in a Toyota Corolla and his friend pulls up in his mom's Benz, you know, he's going to get some looks. You know, I'm sure it still exists.
Yeah, but I think what we're both saying is, though, it's not worth it at the end.
It's really not.
Yeah, especially if you're having to dig real deep into your pockets to have to pay for it. I think that's... Even when you're comfortably paying it off, it's still, like, not...
It doesn't matter.
Worth it, yeah.
It really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yo, my Costco runs are so much easier in that car.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Wow. Those are good times. Those are interesting times when those are the things that we were worrying about. Right?
I miss that IS though, man.
Yeah.
Like,
That was a fun car.
it was a fun car.
Yeah.
I was excited for you.
Yeah.
Usually I'm jealous at that time. I'm like, oh shit, David got an IS. Like, let's go everywhere in this car.
Yeah. Dang, good times. Yeah. Wow. So what do you think the kids are struggling with these days? It can't be cars, right? It can't be. Are they still worried about flexing?
I don't even know, man. It's gotta be. I think it's still a status thing. Like the whole TikTok. If you look at TikTok, if you look at all the kids on TikTok, that's got to be those popular kids, and that's what everybody wants to be. So that's what I would think it would be.
Who has the most views?
Right.
Yeah, man, I'm worried for Aisley, my daughter, who is 2 years old now. I'm worried about the world that she's gonna be stepping into. You know,
Raise her Christian, and she'll be fine.
There you go. Good message right there. Yeah, for all the parents out there, for sure. Yeah.
One person I do want to shout out. Actually, two people I want to shout out. Just randomly, I always see Christy and Josh.
Oh, for Hambi.
Yeah, randomly. I always see them randomly.
Yeah.
But to me, they're like angels.
Yeah.
Like just good kids.
Yeah.
You know, but they're adults now too. They're not even kids.
Isn't Christy like a nurse or something like that? She's
in the medical field.
Yeah.
But she's doing well. I'm sure she is. But like,
that's awesome.
They're like the perfect, like, if I had kids, I would want them to be like them. I don't know what it is. Like, I always think of them. I always do. And I always say, let's go out, but I don't. So if you guys are listening.
Yeah, you guys reach out to Andy because he's admitted that he's not good at that.
Yeah. I just thought of y'all randomly, but yeah.
No, for sure. It's been a while, but I did used to run into Christy a lot. And she is the nicest. She's always just like smiling.
Like freaking angel.
Yeah.
Man, like.
We need more people like her in the world.
You should have her on the podcast.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Christy, I'm going to reach out to you. Yeah. Yeah.
We'll have a Handbeat reunion.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, I think it's so easy in this day and age to be jaded and to, so when I saw her, it was years since I'd seen her, but she still approached me and talked to me as if it were like when we had just like we were going to church together. You know?
And it's just weird because she's an adult.
Yeah.
But she'll never be an adult to us.
Yeah. And you know what? Yeah. I want to give a challenge to the listeners, to the people that you were really close to back in the day, but you've kind of lost contact with.
Hit them up for sure. It's so hard. First of all, it's really hard to make friends as an adult because like where are you going to meet new people? Yeah, right. But you know those relationships, they're so precious. You know, like if you're awkward because it's been a while since you've talked to them, don't be awkward. Please reach out. Yeah, there's a lot of people in my mind. Like I saw Chris Lee. Remember Chris? Yeah, Hurricane.
Yeah. We were part of the same like church softball league. He goes to a different church, but
y'all play softball?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want? Let me talk to the commissioner. about you guys. You promise?
Yeah.
You still promise? Yeah. But you know, like we got to meet up, we got to chat. Like I had like dinner with him. He's such a different guy now because he's all like intellectual. Because back in the day, he wasn't. You know, he was so all over the place back in the day. But
Chris is still the same old Chris to me.
But he's like lawyer Chris.
Oh
now,
yeah,
right?
of course.
So it's interesting. So it's fun to have those reunions and like kind of see what's the same about them, but then also see what's different.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And so this conversation, even now, like it's so interesting to me to know kind of the struggles you're going through because you're right. Like the persona that I see of you is like rapper Andy or like funny work buddy Andy because like you post a lot of funny Instagram stories of you messing with your coworkers. But
I'm very self-conscious, dude.
Yeah, that's
extremely.
That's what. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because mental health, guys, is no joke.
Yes,
and I will give you the contact information. So yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, I don't want to keep it too long. And I think Shirley and AZ are back, so I want you to go meet Aisley. So
yeah, I gotta watch Kingdom too.
Oh, the season 2?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't even seen the first season.
You gotta watch it.
I gotta watch that.
Yeah.
Well, Andy, thank you so much for being on. Guys, if you're watching, listening, send Andy some encouraging messages about his music because we definitely want to see more. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for listening. And I really hope you guys reach out to your old friends and rekindle old relationships. All right. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.
Deuces.